Welcome to Retiring Right. Mike has been helping families plan for a successful retirement. Mike Reese of Centennial Advisors will help you learn about strategies for creating income in retirement, managing your wealth, and minimizing taxes. You're watching Retiring Right.
Welcome on into our show. Happy to be here with Mike Reese. It is always good to see you. How are you?
Fantastic, and I just love seeing you again. Glad to be here. I know that we're going to have a great conversation about retirement planning, right?
Retirement concerns specifically. Everyone nearing this phase has retirement concerns. Let's get right to our topic, Mike. What is your biggest worry in retirement? If you are like so many Americans, your biggest concern is running out of money. If that's you, you're not alone. Today, Mike is here to show you ways to help preserve your wealth, teach you strategies to feel more confident in retirement, and help you plan for your ideal financial future. And Mike, once again, I'm excited about this topic, and I think we'll just dive right into this. Retirement should be this time of enjoyment. We look forward to it. It is about all the goals we've thought about doing, going to the golf course, traveling, whatever it may be. But of course, money is a big part of that. How do you make this work for your clients?
Yeah, Amy, this is one of those areas that I like to say, retirement should be the best time of your life. I mean, think about it, you've been working your whole life. It's time to relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor. And this is a time where you want to travel, you want to spend time with family and friends. Maybe you want to give back to the community in some way or with your church. And the challenge is that at the same time, all the planning you've done to get to this point, well, guess what? It's not the type of planning you need to get through retirement. So what you do to get to retirement, not the same things you need to do to get through retirement. There's a lot of other issues you need to be thinking about. And so your planning has to be very, very different.
Okay, let's break that down a little bit. Why is it so important to plan carefully? And a lot of times people, I imagine sometimes people come to you, they're still 5-10 years out. Some may come and say, I'm retiring next month. How can you help? That's a little different scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, it's think about it this way. When you are working, right, what do we worry about? Well, we just want to grow our money, right? That's all we want to do. And every couple weeks, we're adding to our 401ks, and hopefully what you're doing is, a little dollar cost averaging, putting your money in, you're putting your money in a diversified market portfolio, and, you mix in dollar cost averaging, diversified portfolio, and time. And guess what? You end up with quite a bit of money. But then you get ready to retire. And now what do we have to worry about? Well, now we have to worry not just about growing our money, which we still want to do in retirement, but we need income. We need to worry about health care. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do about taxes? I mean, there's all these other issues, and you have to have a solid plan that addresses all of those areas so that you can be confident and focus on what makes retirement great and not have to worry about what your money's going to do.
Absolutely. Mike, what would you and your team say to someone who came into you and said, I think I'm just going to work longer so that I don't run out of money. That's my solution. Oh,
I do hear that quite a bit, as you can imagine. And here's the problem with that. So imagine you just say to yourself, I'll just work longer, right? Well, can you? Is anybody going to hire you? There's a real ageism thing going on out there, which I know we're not supposed to talk about, but it's real. And a lot of people, what's happening is like, hey, I'm 62. You are one of the highest paid employees in the company, and it's time for the company to shed some costs. So what do? They lay you off, right? Or offer you a early retirement package. And then what happens is you're like, oh goodness, that's okay. I'll just go out and get another job. Well, not so fast. Maybe you can get another job, but nowhere close to the money you've been earning. And let's say you retire and then you decide, you spend a bunch of money or the markets don't cooperate. You're like, I'll just go back to work at some point. That's the other thing, right? Well, can you? Are you going to make any money? And, oh my gosh, why do most people retire anyway? This is sad to say, but here's what happens. It's health related, right? People think, I'm going to work till 67. But at 62, they have a health issue come up and suddenly they can't work anymore. I had that happen the other day. We had a couple come in the office and he was telling me, he goes, Mike, I had a heart attack at 62. I had open heart surgery kind of stuff. And I couldn't go back to work. I had to quit. And now he's like, okay, this is all the money I have. I've got to make it last. I need some kind of plan. I need something to help me protect my money, take some income, make it last, because I physically can't go back to work. And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, the thing is you don't have a crystal ball. None of us do. And we don't know when those health events might come. And it's a very real part of having that plan in place, isn't it?
Yeah, and remember this, when it comes to your retirement, Amy, there are really 3 big reasons that people run out of money. And they're always worried about running out of money. There's 3 big reasons.
Right.
1, they spend too much. Well, if we're financial adults, we can fix that. We can be, smart about that. Number 2, healthcare, right? Later in life, we have a big healthcare event, boom, and suddenly all our money's gone. And again, if we don't bury our heads in the sand, we think about it, we plan, we can probably fix that. And then number 3, right? The third reason, we have what we call sequence of return risk, which means markets don't cooperate early in retirement. Planning helps you take care of all of those. And if you do your planning right, then you never have to worry about running out of money.
Mike, we're off to a great start. Stick around. We've got more coming up with you. Coming up on the show, Mike talks about ways to preserve your money from costly mistakes. And later, he'll share a fun way to think about your retirement plan involving a cake. Are you hungry? Stick around to find out what that is all about here on Retiring Right. We'll be right back.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back to Retiring Right. Here's a question for you. What if you could keep more of your money and pay less in taxes during retirement? That's what Mike Reese is here to talk about next. And we should be thinking about a lot of things, but when it comes to taxes, what really kind of keeps us on track with our plan when it comes to retirement specifically?
Yeah, this is a great area of conversation, Amy, because when it comes to tax planning, remember, this is very different than tax preparation. And what happens all the time is, it's April, it's time to get your taxes done. And so what do? We either find an accountant, a CPA, or we do TurboTax or something. And what are we doing? We're just calculating how much tax do we owe. That's tax preparation. Tax planning, on the other hand, is what you do every other part of the year where you're trying to, essentially massage your affairs so that you pay less tax to Uncle Sam. There are a ton of ways that you can reduce taxes in retirement. One of the biggest problems people have in retirement from a tax perspective is their 401ks, their 403bs, their 457s, their IRAs. These accounts, it's a bunch of money that's never been taxed. So as you pull money out, oh my goodness, not only do you pay tax on the withdrawal, but oftentimes you pay more tax on Social Security, you pay more tax for your Medicare, it's called IRMA, you might pay more tax and dividend interest. There's just so many ways it affects you. So it's really, really important in retirement to plan so that you can reduce those taxes. One simple way is Roth conversion. Very simple. Everyone can do it. You can, at any age, doesn't matter how much money you make, no limits, but Roth conversion is the first thing you should be looking at. Doesn't mean it's right for everyone, but but it is something to take a look at.
Yeah, you do wonder anymore this conversation in retirement why anyone wouldn't look at trying to be a little more prepared. What do you say to people, Mike, who worry about taking too much risk in retirement? That's very real. I think a lot of times people are still ready to put the pedal to the gas, but
Right.
maybe not everyone.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. 3 biggest reasons people run out of money in retirement. Number 3 was sequence of return risk. And that means what happens if the markets don't cooperate early in retirement? They decide to go on vacation for a while. And we see this all the time where, whenever you invest your money in retirement, you need to have a foundation, a protection piece where no matter what the markets do, you're okay. The problem is that a lot of people, and sorry to say, but it's usually men, not the ladies, but a lot of people, they just keep investing for growth in retirement because they just want
adrenaline.
Yeah, they want grow. Now, here's the thing. Is it important to still grow your money in retirement? Yes or no? Of course it is. We have to worry about inflation. We have to worry about all kinds of things. But with that in mind, retirement is also the time where you need to say, hey, I got to be a little prudent here. I've got to be a little bit of an adult and start scaling back a little bit, because it's not just about growth. It's also about protecting what you've worked so hard to build. It's about generating income, being smart with taxes. There's a lot of other factors other than just growth, and you have to be aware of that.
Okay, what's your take on this? Some people have this idea that tax efficient strategies are designed, if you will, crafted for the super rich. What do you say about that?
Well, it's fair to say the super rich use a lot of tax strategies to keep their taxes to a minimum, right? Now, but here's the thing. Taxes are for everybody. They're for everyone. And, if you are retiring, you're living on $50,000 or $60,000 a year, good news. You're probably not going to be hit very badly with taxes. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But there is a huge section of the population that, Amy, you retire, and let's say you retire and, maybe you've got $700,000 saved for retirement. Maybe you've got $3 million saved for retirement. This is a group of people that are often referred to in the demographic world as the mass affluent. In other words, you have enough money that you should be comfortable in retirement, but you don't have so much that, you're rich. You're not really rich here, but you've got enough you should be okay. This group of people gets hammered on taxes, absolutely hammered. And especially when they get into their late 70s and into their 80s and their required minimum distributions, oh my goodness, they get slammed. These people can save literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. It just takes planning. And that might mean Roth conversions. It might mean if you're giving to charity using what are called QCDs or donor advised funds. There are, in my office, we have a CPA, and Phil likes to say, I'm the Baskin Robbins of tax planning.
Oh,
I
like that.
Yes, he goes, I have, like Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors, right?
Yeah.
So Phil says, I have 31 strategies that I'm using every year with our clients. And our clients are these mass affluent for the most part. And he's helping them keep their taxes to a minimum. So it's not just for the uber rich, it really is for everyone. And here's the key. You have to have an advisor helping you do this. The biggest thing with taxes, my friend Larry, who, a really great friend of mine, unfortunately he had passed away, but he had a tax accounting firm. And he used to say things like, Mike, here's the problem with taxes. You don't know what you don't know. There's so many things you can do, but you just don't know you can do them.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you so much. Coming up, Mike is going to walk you through a sweeter approach, speaking of ice cream, to retirement planning. You'll find out what retirement and cake have in common. We'll be back in just a moment, right here on Retiring Right.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
Welcome back to the show. Mike Reese is about to show us how your retirement plan is a lot like baking a cake. Mike, let's hear it.
Thanks, Amy. Today in Chalk Talk, we are going to talk about making a cake. And what in the world does that have to do with financial planning anyway? I mean, this is the silliest thing, right? Well, hang on. I'm going to share this with you. So here we go. So let's imagine that you want to make a cake, right? You want to make a cake. And so we could almost say that this is your goal. I want a cake. Well, what kind of cake do you want? Well, let's say you want a chocolate cake. Fantastic. We have identified your goal, make a chocolate cake. What is the next step to making a chocolate cake? Well, once you've got your goal, the next thing you need is a strategy to make your cake. Now, in the baking industry, that strategy is called a recipe. Right? So you say, oh, I need a recipe to make a chocolate cake. So you find the recipe or the strategy you want, and what's our next step? Our next step is to get the tools to make the chocolate cake. Saying, what tools do you need? Well, whatever the recipe tells you. Let's see, what do we need? We need some flour, we need some sugar, we need some butter, we need some sugar, we need some chocolate, more sugar. You know what I'm talking about. You just need all that stuff. And then you just use the strategy to make your cake, right? Goals, strategy, tools. Those are the levels that you go through when deciding you're going to make a chocolate cake. The goal, I want a chocolate cake. The strategy is the recipe, and the tools, of course, are the ingredients. This is exactly how financial planning works in retirement. What is your goal? You want to live your best life in retirement. Okay, great. What does that look like? Oh, I want to travel. I need this much money coming in each month to live my lifestyle. I want to spend time with kids. I want to spend time with my church, etc., etc. What do you want in retirement? That's your goal. Then, once you identify your goal, then you say, okay, well, what strategies do I need to make that goal a reality? Well, you probably need an income strategy. Maybe you need a tax strategy. Maybe you need an investment strategy. Maybe you need a healthcare strategy, and so on and so on. From there, what tools do you need to make this all work out? Well, whichever tools your strategy says you need. If you need, you probably need some stocks in one of these investment strategies. And in an income strategy, maybe you need some fixed income or maybe some annuities. In the tax planning strategy, maybe you need some Roth conversions. I think you get the idea. This is the number one problem that we face in the financial industry. For most financial advisors, when you go visit them, what do they say? If you go see a financial advisor for the first time, what do you think they want? They want your statements. They want to know, what tools are you using? They might say, hey, kind of what do you want in retirement? But what do they really want to do? They want to take your set of tools and just show you how their shiny set of tools are better. Well, that's great, but is that where you should start? No, you need to start with your goals. What do you want? And then after the goals, do we go to tools then? No, we're not there yet. We have to identify what strategies you need to help you accomplish what you want. And then by the time you get to tools, it's nothing more than, gosh, I just need to fill in the blanks of whatever my strategy says I need. The tools are the least important part of the whole conversation. So, when you want to develop a well thought out strategy for your retirement, and you work with any advisor at all, remember this: you must start with the goals. And your next step had darn well better be, what strategies should we be looking at employing to make those goals reality? And it's not until you get those out of the way that it's time to say, okay, which funds or stocks or annuities or bonds or whatever, what tools do you need to use? And I hope that makes some sense. So just like making a cake, financial planning follows the exact same process.
Sounds delicious, Mike. Thanks so much. Coming up, we'll take your questions about building and preserving wealth in retirement. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Retiring Right.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back. Now it's time for your questions. Mike, Reese, you ready for this?
I can't wait. I'm a little worried about how this is going to go. Let's see how we do.
We will never throw you a hardball. Don't you worry. All right, here we go. This is from Phil in Austin. This question says, I get that diversification is important, but at the end of the day, nothing spends like cash. Having money on hand is my insurance that I can't lose if the market dips. So my question is, how much of my retirement savings should I have in cash so that it's preserved?
All right, so this is a great question. It's one we actually hear quite a bit.
Okay.
And whenever we build portfolios for people, we like to refer to how we do things as the virtuous investment cycle. At the foundation of the portfolios is a protected element of your retirement savings. And cash certainly could fit in that element. You want to typically, and here's a mistake a lot of people make that we talk to, it's like, hey, I'm investing the money myself, but I'm worried about the market risk, so I'm going to put 2 years of cash, 3 years of cash, maybe 5 years of spending in cash. So if they're spending, I don't know, $60,000 a year, that would be $120,000 or $200,000 in cash. Well, the only problem with that is that markets have a tendency to, when they go down, they can be down a lot longer period of time. We like to see closer to 10 years worth of income in that foundation piece. So do you want to put 10 years, if you're spending, say, I don't know, let's go with $40,000 a year. Do you want to put $400,000 of cash? Probably not, because you're not making any money there. So the right answer, it is going to be different for everyone, but generally speaking, if you want to use some cash in that foundation piece, that's fine, but you also should be looking at other tools that can help you earn a higher rate of return than just what cash brings. Ideal world, I think you need about a year's worth of cash, and then the rest can be put, of that foundation piece can be put in something, get a higher rate of return.
Okay. Here's another one for you. This is from Karen in Georgetown. I've been happy with how my retirement plan has been going, but I don't know how long it's been since I've really reviewed it. If nothing big has changed, how often should I really be updating my retirement plan? I love this question because a lot of times people do set it and forget it.
So here is what I have to say about that. First of all, if you have an advisor, by law, they have to review your planning at least annually. So once a year is kind of a minimum. But here's the big challenge. Amy, most financial advisors, when they're helping someone in retirement, what are they doing? They're helping you review your investments. Hey, how do your investments do? How'd the market do? That's pretty much the entire conversation. However, in retirement, we have to worry about, as we've talked about today, we have to worry about income. We have to worry about health care. We have to worry about taxes. Do you think the tax code changes from time to time?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, and so if you're not sitting down and reviewing your tax planning annually at least, then I have to ask, what the heck are you doing?
Red flag.
Yeah, big time red flag. So the answer to this question, you really need to be reviewing your planning annually at least. I would tell you with our clients, we like to review, we're talking to them probably 3-4 times a year. And it doesn't have to be a big, long conversation, but you got to check in. What are we doing for tax planning this year? What are we going to do for income planning? How do we make sure that your health care is set up the right way? How do you protect yourself if long-term care comes into play? What about your estate planning? All that kind of stuff needs to be reviewed on a regular basis.
Okay, great answer. This is from Paul in Salado asking, I'm thinking of selling a rental property. Should I consider putting that money into my retirement savings or something else?
Oh my gosh, no, you blow the money in a Lamborghini is what you do, of course.
Obviously, obviously.
You know, I think that that's a very case-specific question, right? It all depends on, his situation, so it's hard for me to give any kind of thoughts on that. I do think, though, that if you're selling a rental property, either, reallocate those funds into other rental property. If you want to use it, you can use a 1031 exchange for that, or if not that, then long-term savings is probably the smart move.
Or a Lamborghini.
Or a Lamborghini.
Okay, one or the other. All right, here is one from Lisa in San Marcos. I want to leave some of my money to my grandkids. What is an ideal way to do that? Love the grandkid question.
Of course, yeah. So whenever you're leaving money to someone, there is one financial tool that is the best, hands down, nothing else comes close. It's called life insurance. And it's life insurance because why? The money you leave them is tax-free. It's a lot bigger amount of money than the money you put in, and it transfers free of probate. I mean, there's all kinds of benefits for life insurance. However, just because it's the best tool doesn't mean it's the best available tool, because you do have to be insurable, and you do want to make sure it's set up the right way. So that's ideal. And also, depending on the age of the grandchildren, Amy, like if they're young, might need a trust in there because, they can't receive money, all that kind of stuff. Sure. The other thing that a lot of grandparents like to do is they like to leave them, instead of a lump sum, they like to leave them income. So there's a lot of tools out there where you can put money either into a trust or into certain tools where instead of leaving a lump sum, I mean, imagine this, your grandparents die and every year you get a check for the rest of your life and it's in their name.
It's a little reminder of them.
Yeah, what a great way to remember your grandparents, huh?
I love that. I love all these options for this question. Great answers. All right, thank you so much, Mike. If you are ready to create a tax-efficient retirement plan designed to protect your wealth, generate income for life, and leave a lasting legacy, now's the time to connect with the team at Centennial Advisors. For Mike Reese and the entire team, I'm Amy Sharp. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Retiring Right.